So we've got this 2001 DRZ400s. The clutch is cooked on it, and just dumped the oil, and it smells bad. So another indication that the clutch is cooked. So we're gonna take a look at what it looks like. These fasteners are different lengths, but it's easy to tell where they go because they go in the same, kind of have the same distance when they come out, so I'm not too worried about mixing them up. Okay. Well, holy shit. Cooked it so bad, there's no clutch plates or anything in there. They're gone. Just kidding. I actually took these out before. You take a look over here. I was waiting for the new ones to come in. So these are the ones that were in there, and there's factory specs on the thickness here, and they're all under spec, but the color is blue and black, so you know that they got really hot. I think metal turns blue at about 500 degrees and black at about 800 degrees. So you can see the blue next, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but there's blue next to the friction material. And there's blue and brown and blue and black on the metal material. And there's what the replacements are supposed to look like. So we'll get this all oiled up and get this new clutch back in. So if you're not sure how a motorcycle clutch works, it's kind of easy. So you've got one basket here that turns the transmission, okay? These two rings on here are important on this bike, and we'll get into that in a minute. Then you've got this basket that is turned by a gear on the crankshaft, this outside one. So start out with the friction ring, and just goes here and slides all the way in. It'll slide over the spacer. You can see this black spacer here. So you see this engages with the transmission. Then the next piece that goes on is the plate, and this plate is kind of rounded on one edge and sharp on the other. Doesn't really matter which way it goes as long as you put them all the same way. You saw how this friction plate interacts with this outside basket, and the disc interacts with the inside basket. And there's springs that push everything together and holds it tight, and when the clutch pushes out on the outer cover that goes on here, it separates it, lets everything spin. When you release the clutch, the springs push it back together, and that interconnects then the inner and outer baskets. Now I can't leave this on here like this. I got to pull it out and get everything oiled. So I made a little honey pot here out of an old Frisbee. We're going to take and soak these friction discs in oil and get them ready to go. All right, so we're going to start with this one. We got it all oiled up. sure we get everything aligned here. Easier to do with two hands, but holding the phone with one. So we get this in there. Make sure we've got our spacer there. It's all lined up. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in one of the discs. And again, we're going to feel for that sharp edge and feel for the round edge. I'm going to put the round edge out. So you start with the friction disc and you'll end with the friction disc. All right, so now we got the clutch pack in, at least the discs and friction discs. Now we're going to put the cover and the springs on. All right, we've got our new clutch springs. I ordered this from Tusk as a heavy duty kit. Now we've got to put our fasteners in. This is hard for me to probably do one-handed, but I'll see if we can get them started. All right, we've got these started. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work them all in an alternating method the same way until we get them tight. Okay, so we got the basket installed with bolts snugged and torqued. Now, if we pull the clutch lever, it doesn't move it much, but it's enough to disengage. All right, so now we've got this cover. We're going to replace that O-ring and button it back up. All right, so we got it all buttoned up. Got to put some oil in it, test run it. So the oil we drained out of it has, we just literally changed the oil. So it doesn't even have an hour to an hour and a half on that oil. Just goes to show, now granted this is an extreme circumstance, the clutch got cooked, but just goes to show how the clutch particles and such, and heating a clutch can really damage the motor oil. Let's just take a little dip here, and you can see the difference between the new oil and oil that's not even an hour old. Yeah. So, the old DRZ's ready for another day. Pretty happy about that. Time to hit the trails.